Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Brave Namibia, where we celebrate ordinary and extraordinary Namibians. Our first stop today is Ondangwa, where Tunohole Mungabe spoke to Rauha Sanders. Rauha shares with us her experiences of falling pregnant and the shock of failing her grade 12 year. Then, last year, she received a wonderful opportunity to become the youth coordinator of the Ondangwa Adolescents and Youth Health Center. Today, she is determined to be the voice of young mothers.
Everybody, my name is Rauha Sanders. I'm 21 years old and I'm the coordinator for youth activities at Ondangwa Adolescents and Youth Health Center in Ondangwa, Oshana region. Rauha was born in Ongadiva and that is where I grew up actually. Most of my life was spent in Ongadiva. I actually went to primary school at Golden Maggie Private School in Ongadiva, and I remember I went to school at Golden Maggie from grade 1 actually up until grade 7. That's where I completed my primary school, and then I went to high school grade 8 to 12, which I spent at Oshakati Senior Secondary School, that is in Oshakati. Okay, as I was saying, I went to Oshakati Secondary School for my high school. That's from grade 8 to 12. And growing up, I was actually a very jolly young kid. You know, one considered me the smart kid in school. I was very lively. I loved friends. I had so many things, aspirations, being a child, in primary, have these big dreams of where you want to be and how you imagine life to be when you're at that point in life. Fell in love with this guy. It was great at first. We did everything together. We had the best moments. Sometimes I would also sneak out of school just to go and, meet him and be with him and stuff. Even though we were in the same school, it was actually outside and I was boarding actually. So that's when the danger came in, because then I had to sneak out of school sometimes to go and meet him and stuff. Yeah, but then we do all this blindly as young girls because of, love. And it was good. The first 1-2 years. Then actually met him in grade 11 towards I met him in grade 11. Then we were actually good friends at first. I met him through another friend, and then we started talking. Things became exciting, and then he eventually asked me out. So became official. His girlfriend is my boyfriend. Whole school literally knew, and so I was comfortable with it. But then people were actually not comfortable, because then they felt we're always together. It was annoying for some people and stuff. So rumors started spreading, and it was not nice actually. It was really irritating and intimidating at some point, but I got over that. And then come grade 12, there's always hiccups in relationships, like in every relationship, whether friendship, love relations, or family relations. There's always hiccups. It's not always a smooth ride. There were points where we broke up, made up again, broke up, made up again. And then towards final exams, we were okay. And we were writing exams. I remember it was our last paper. It was on a Tuesday, I think, and then the last paper were to write was on a Tuesday, was scheduled for a Tuesday, and the last paper that I wrote was actually on a Thursday. I think it was geography that we had to write last, but then I actually had to write entrepreneurship on a Thursday, so I had to wait for my last paper on Tuesday. And then I decided that no, so I'm free and I can go spend time with them. So I actually snuck out of school. I went, spent that weekend with him, and things were good, we were okay. Came back, wrote exams, we finished, but then things went, I don't know what happened, but we had a fallout. I don't know, I don't remember really what triggered that part, but I know we didn't go into the holiday on good terms. And I was okay with it. No, I was fine. I moved on. I was like, you know what? If it wasn't meant to be, then it's okay. But then, there's always that hurt part in you. Sometimes you don't want to believe, but then it's reality. And then 2 months actually, I didn't get my period. So it's frightening for me. I'm not talking to the person, and I didn't get my period, and results are about to be released. So it was frightening. I was panicking. At some point I felt like, you know what, it's not real, it's all in my head, and yeah, it was frightening, terrifying actually. 3 months come, still haven't had my period, and then it starts to sink in that I might be pregnant. You always say might because then you don't want it to be true. So I was like, no, it's not true, but then something is saying it is. So it's always a battle between the heart and the brain. It's like your brain is telling you no, it's a lie, and then your heart is like, you know what, there is nothing to it, you are pregnant. And I'm like, okay. So I took a pregnancy test. I was actually with my best friend, that's my cousin, she's like my big sister. So yeah, she held my hand through it all. We took that test together, and that's when I found out I was pregnant. Very scary, terrifying, heartbreaking at that moment, knowing you just came out of high school, you don't even have your results, and then you get that shocking news that you're pregnant, So yeah, at that point I didn't inform anyone at home. I was actually really scared how my parents would take it, how my family would react, because then that is not what they expected. When the smart kids are always their children, their parents' pride, and like, my daughter could never do something like that. That's always what every parent believes, that children are not capable of doing such things, and then that is where the biggest disappointment is, because then they always want the best for their kids, and then we end up hurting them. I'm back again, and I'm here to take you around Ondangwa Adolescents and Youth Class Center. Okay, this center was actually inaugurated on the 6th of November 2020. It was done by Honorable Brave Namibia, the ED for Ministry of Health, on behalf of Honorable Dr. Kalumbi Shambula. Well, our center is located behind Ondangwa Town Lodge, opposite Namwata. This is the old pension office in Ondangwa. Come with me and I will show you around. So, this is our center. This is the center of excellence, the place where young people come and receive their youth-friendly services. We offer SRH services here, that is sexual reproductive health services for young people which is family planning, HIV testing and counseling, general counseling, whether marriage counseling, relationship counseling, everything that entails psychosocial support is offered here. Apart from that, what we currently are doing, we have services that are gradually coming in, which is ANC and PNC, which is antenatal care and postnatal care for our lovely young mothers that are coming in for the sexual reproductive health services. Well, there's actually a lot that we plan on doing in terms of our services, because then we also actually have to take it one step at a time. We cannot rush because we want to be a center of excellence, so our things have to be on top. So with that said, we are gradually coming in with our services. We're taking it step at a time. So currently we are only doing family planning, HIV testing and counseling, general counseling, as well as treatment for minor illnesses. Right, so for me, being here as a young person, I'm actually here as a representative of the advisory board. So I'm a young person that's representing the board here at the center. Well, my work here is I actually put together activities for young people, making sure that young people have fun stuff to do while being at their safe space, because this is a safe space for young people. This is a youth-friendly center. It's for the youth, by the youth. And for my responsibilities, I'm basically doing anything and everything here at the center, making sure that everything is in place and check, when our young people come, there's everything that needs to be here and they don't lack certain things or services that they might want or seek here from us.
In our next clip, experts warn that the devastating emotional blow of the pandemic on mental health is not only underestimated but severely neglected. Jana-Mari Smith spoke to various personalities about their experiences and how they are coping with the situation.
The psychological impact of the pandemic has been grossly underestimated. Now we sit with trauma, we sit with real bereavement, fear, even panic. We have seen a dramatic increase in depression and anxiety over the last year. It's often a part of this pandemic that's been neglected.
We are suffering from a massive collective grief and bereavement. And if there's anyone out there still expecting that their spouses, their children, their employees are 100% in functioning and living their best lives, I think you've not been paying attention. There's lots of fear right now. Fear about the disease itself, about getting it, but also fear about losing your loved ones.
It started from this being a thing of numbers, and now these numbers are people. And it's people that we know. It's no longer just out there. It is here and it is in our homes. I remember getting the text message on the 1st of April that a really close friend of mine had passed away. And it is, for most of us, it's not just one person, it is one person after another.
So I've seen clients who come and they've lost 4 family members all at once in one family. Meanwhile, it's business as usual. We have to go to our work. We've got to go to our job. Legally, we get 5 days compassionate leave. And that 5 days is not enough if you're losing 5 family members or friends and colleagues. So I think right now, the way that our world is really preventing people from really grieving and mourning in a way that is really conducive to healing. Collectively, I think we need to have a lot more empathy and compassion, because just as much as we are hurting and we are grieving, to also acknowledge that your colleague sitting next to you, your employee, who might not be showing up to work as frequently as they should, that they are also really struggling. They're struggling with grief. They're struggling with depression and anxiety. They're struggling in this new normal.
When something or somebody that we love are at risk, it causes a great existential crisis in our life. And I think this is also what this pandemic has been doing. People are confused. Sometimes they feel that the rug has been pulled from right under them. They ask why questions. They question themselves, they question God, they question things that they previously believed or trusted in.
If we can do what we can to get the numbers down, we are still going to sit with a whole bunch of people who now have endogenous long-term anxiety disorders, depressive disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, really things that are going to follow them around longer than COVID-19 does.
This is big, and it's so important that if you need help, please seek help and speak to somebody and get the tools to help you process this, because it's bigger than all of us.
In the case of Namibia, mental well-being is still a taboo topic, in particular among men, but generally in society. With the COVID, that's impacting all of us, and I think we have to demystify this taboo and just talk about it openly. Mental well-being can take different forms. It's not necessarily depression or anxiety. It can even be a burnout. In my particular case, I thought I was depressed, but when I talked to a psychologist, I was actually diagnosed as suffering from a burnout. And so that raises the question of the work-life balance. Often we focus too much on work and you can experience a burnout, and sometimes you may even break down. I was fortunate that I didn't break down. So I really call on people to talk openly about this topic, not to be shy, to seek for assistance, and just for friends also to be there, to watch out for signs. I think as friends, sometimes you can pick up that your friend, your colleague may be going through a difficult time, but just be kind and give at least just an ear that people can listen to.
There's still so much taboo and stigma around therapy and seeking help. You don't know when you're going to need those tools until you need them. And I truly don't think I would be here today if I hadn't sought help when I needed it in the past. I am so grateful that my inner world is what it is, and that I have actively worked on building my inner world, because a month ago I went through possibly one of the hardest times I've ever gone through, and had I not had those tools that I'd gotten through therapy and really spent years working on my mental health, I honestly believe that I would have died.
I am raising 2 boys, and I have come to learn this. All the feelings matter, even the tantrums. They are communicating something. And my babies are allowed to show those feelings, yes, even in public spaces. It's normal. We all feel it. We're not always happy or always sad, but we can't continue numbing the negative feelings we are feeling, because it does show. It shows in abuse and in abandonment. I hope that I'm enabling my boys to one day talk about everything they feel and experience, but we have to start talking about it from a very young age.
It's super important that we all just acknowledge the state of the world right now. We acknowledge the impact that it's having on us. So if you are struggling right now with depression or anxiety or struggling to grieve, first step is to be able to speak about it and to acknowledge it. I think our stories give other people permission to do the same. I think what we should do is to normalize that it's okay to not be okay.
Right now, they are constant companions. This grief, this fear, this anxiety, integrating them, especially now, is so important, because we're all a little scared and we are all a little anxious.
We as human beings are individuals that has the capacity to search and look for meaning. In a pandemic like this is the best option alternative we probably have. We need to look at our lives and reappraise what is important to us, our priorities. We have to practice gratitude. So one of the ways that we can cope with this is, first of all, to stand together. Despite being isolated, we can be connected. We can stand with each other and care for each other. All of us need something to hold on to, something to believe in, and really to be kind and generous and loving to one another.
Collectively, to hold space for each other, collectively to acknowledge that we are all really being impacted by this, really on a level that none of us could have conceived a year ago, and to just really normalize that it's okay to not be okay.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you know of someone that you feel should feature on our show, please contact us at brave@nmh.com.na.